Tonight is not about aliens, explosions, or spectacular cosmic disasters. It's about silence, a silence so deep that it reshapes the fate of everything that exists. There is a sound louder than any supernova, any collision of galaxies, louder than the birth of stars themselves. The sound of nothing happening, the sound of a universe that should be alive, yet is slowly being erased. Imagine walking through a city built for millions, completely empty, streetlights glowing for no one, buildings standing, waiting, watching. The silence isn't calming, it's wrong. It feels like a warning. That unsettling feeling is exactly what the universe is becoming. The cosmos is not just vast, it is becoming lonely, and it is happening faster every second. Right now, as you sit here, something invisible is pulling galaxies away from each other, stretching space itself, thinning the universe into silence. Not violently, not dramatically, but quietly, relentlessly. By the end of this journey, you will understand why the universe is empty, what is causing the silence, and why the future of the cosmos is not fire or chaos, but isolation. If you're ready to step beyond comforting noise and face the most disturbing truth modern cosmology has uncovered, stay with me. Because once you hear this silence, you can't unhear it. Over the next hour and a half, we are going to face the deepest kind of emptiness there is, starting with things that feel safe and familiar. The distances you can walk, the steady tick of a clock, the solid resistance you feel when you press your hand against a wall. These are the small, reliable truths we build our lives around. And then, step by step, we will watch the universe strip them away, stretching them until they no longer make sense. As we move from a quiet street corner at night, out into the cold voids between galaxies, and finally confront the invisible force quietly pulling everything apart. Dark energy, which is not just making the universe bigger, but slowly erasing it, thinning matter and light until almost nothing remains, and leaving us marooned on a tiny island of stars in an ocean of nothing, where the question is no longer, are we alone? But why is the universe working so hard to make sure we end up that way? Like a party that once held billions of guests, alive with laughter and sound, only for you to return years later to find the music stopped, the lights dimmed, and everyone quietly gone. Not destroyed, but emptied. The silence heavier than any noise could ever be, because that is the future the universe has planned for us, and it is already unfolding. So stay with me as we walk into that silence together, one step at a time, knowing that once you understand why it is so quiet out there, you will never hear the night sky the same way again. Let's start with something we all know, the feeling of a long trip. Think about the last time you drove across a state or took a long flight. You measure the distance in miles or hours, and by the end, you feel it in your body. The stiffness, the tiredness, the sense that you have really gone somewhere. Even a trip around the entire world is something we can picture. It is long, it is tiring, but it is possible. It has a beginning and an end you can reach. Now bring that same feeling to our closest neighbor in space, the Moon. If you could drive a car straight up at normal highway speed, about 70 miles per hour, it would take you roughly 6 hours to get there. 6 hours. That is a serious road trip, but it is still something you can imagine. Stopping for coffee, changing the music, watching the landscape disappear behind you. The distance is about 240,000 miles. It feels far, but it also feels real. Something you could almost do if the road just kept going. We are comfortable with that kind of distance. It fits inside the way we experience the world. But the universe is about to show us that comfort is only an illusion. The next step is not 6 hours away. It is a journey that would take thousands of lifetimes. And that is just to the nearest star. The road is about to get much, much longer. And there are no rest stops along the way. The moment we leave Earth's surface, the comfortable rules of distance we live by start to come apart. Mars, our closest planetary neighbor, is not a fixed target. Its distance swings wildly as both planets orbit the Sun. But at the very best alignment, it is about 34 million miles away. Take the same car you drive on the highway at 70 miles per hour, point it straight at Mars, and drive without ever stopping. The trip would take more than 55 years. 55 years. That is not a weekend getaway or even a long vacation. It is an entire adult lifetime spent behind the wheel, watching the same red dot grow slowly larger in the windshield, while generations are born, live, and die on Earth as you are still traveling. The journey is no longer something you can feel in your body or plan in your calendar. It is a commitment that swallows a human life whole. The space between Earth and Mars is not just far. It is already a cold, empty gulf that turns a neighbor into something almost unreachable. And Mars is the closest planet we have. Everything beyond it is farther, much farther. The emptiness is only beginning. The silence between worlds is deeper than we ever imagined. And it is about to get much, much worse. To really feel the emptiness of space, we have to leave the car behind and switch to the fastest thing in the universe: light. Light moves at 186,000 miles every second, fast enough to circle Earth 7 times in the blink of an eye. From the Moon, that light reaches us in just 1.3 seconds, and from Mars, at its average distance, it takes about 12.5 minutes. These are the first big jumps, where we stop counting hours of driving and start counting minutes of light time, and the inner solar system suddenly feels like a small backyard lit by a single porch light. But step outside that backyard into the dark between stars, and light itself starts to look slow. The nearest star system beyond our Sun, Proxima Centauri, is not a few light minutes away. It is 4.24 light years distant, where a single light year is the distance light travels in a full year of non-stop motion, nearly 6 trillion miles. Try to imagine driving that distance at highway speed, and the journey would take more than 40 million years. 40 million years. Longer than the entire age of mammals on Earth. Long enough for mountains to rise and vanish, for continents to drift apart and collide again, revealing that the space between our Sun and the next nearest star is not just far, but a gulf so vast it swallows deep time whole. The distance to Mars, once enormous, now feels like stepping across the street. The void between stars is not emptiness you cross. It is emptiness that crosses you, silent, patient, and absolute. We have only just begun to feel how alone the stars really are. And the silence is only getting deeper. This is the first, most crushing reason the universe feels so empty. The sheer, impossible scale of the distances, because our solar system is a tiny bubble of warmth and matter. A few planets, a handful of moons, all huddled close to one average star, surrounded by a darkness so vast it turns every dream of travel into dust, where the tools that work so well on Earth, walking, driving, even flying, mean nothing. And a car, a jet, a rocket are all toys against the void, since the space between stars is not just far, but a wall of time that no human life or machine can ever hope to climb. And even that cold, silent emptiness between stars is only the hallway, because the real terror waits farther out in the abyss between galaxies, where stepping beyond the Milky Way galaxy transforms darkness from the quiet between streetlights into the emptiness between cities, then continents, then planets themselves, with galaxies as bright, bustling islands of 100 billion stars each, separated by an ocean that is deeper, colder, and far more patient than language can capture, spanning millions of light years, so vast that light, the fastest thing in existence, takes millions of years to crawl from one island to the next, while almost nothing happens in between. No stars, no planets, no warmth, just the slow drift of stray hydrogen atoms waiting forever for gravity to notice them. This is the true silence of the cosmos, not the quiet between neighbors, but the quiet between strangers who will never meet. And it is getting worse, because the universe is not content to leave those islands scattered in stillness, but is pulling them apart faster and faster until even the light between them stretches into nothingness. Meaning, the emptiness is not an accident, but something actively being made by a force we whisper like a ghost. Dark energy. So we are only getting started. The silence is deeper than distance, and it is growing. To feel the next level of emptiness, we need to picture something familiar. A simple kitchen sponge. Hold one in your hand. It looks solid enough, but squeeze it and you feel the truth. Because a sponge is mostly holes, a tangled web of thin material with vast empty spaces in between, where the web gives it shape and strength while the holes make it light, flexible, and useful. And in everyday life, we instinctively focus on the material, the part we can touch, the walls that hold water or support weight, while the empty spaces feel like nothing, just the absence of stuff. Now zoom out to the largest scale we can see, and the universe looks exactly like that sponge. Galaxies are not scattered randomly, like salt on a table, but cluster along thin, glowing threads called filaments, meeting at bright knots where superclusters form. And these threads and knots are the material of the cosmic web, made of stars, gas, and dark matter, while between them stretch enormous empty regions called voids, bubbles hundreds of millions of light years wide, where almost no galaxies exist at all. Our eyes and minds naturally lock onto the bright threads, the galaxies, the clusters, the places where light and matter gather, because that is the structure that feels real and important, while the voids seem like nothing, just blank spaces on the map. But here is the unsettling twist. The voids are not small or rare. They are the main part, taking up most of the volume of the universe, more than 80% by some estimates, meaning the glowing web of galaxies is only a thin skin stretched over a mostly empty interior, where the structure we marvel at is the minority and the emptiness is the rule. The universe is not a crowded city of stars. It is a sponge floating in the dark, with holes far larger than the material holding it together. And that emptiness is not standing still. It is growing as the voids slowly expand, the filaments thin, and something invisible pushes everything apart, pulling the sponge wider and wider until its holes swallow more and more of the structure we thought was permanent. The silence between galaxies is not just vast, it is winning, and the reason it is winning is the scariest part of all. The universe, on its largest scale, looks exactly like that sponge, and we call this vast structure the cosmic web. It is the biggest pattern we have ever found in the cosmos, a giant, three-dimensional network built slowly by gravity over billions of years. The material of this sponge is made of long, thin threads called filaments, chains of galaxies, glowing gas, and invisible dark matter stretching for hundreds of millions of light years like delicate bridges across the dark. Where several filaments meet, they knot together into massive nodes, forming the great galaxy clusters, cosmic cities such as the Virgo cluster or the Coma cluster, home to thousands of galaxies packed close enough to tug on one another with gravity, bright and crowded regions where stars are born in abundance and black holes feast at their centers. The cosmic web is not smooth or uniform. It is lumpy and frothy, with bright filaments and dense nodes standing out against enormous empty regions known as voids, which make up most of the universe's volume. Like a sponge, the glowing parts are only the thin walls. The real bulk lies in the open holes. This web is the skeleton of everything we see, the map of how matter settled after the Big Bang, pulled together along the densest paths while leaving vast bubbles almost empty. The universe is not a random scattering of galaxies. It is one immense, interconnected foam, and we live on a quiet thread in a structure so large that light from one end has barely had time to reach the other. From afar, the cosmic web is beautiful, but up close, it reveals the silence we've been circling all along, because most of it, the overwhelming majority, is not the bright cities or glowing threads, but the voids. And the voids are winning. Just as a sponge is defined by its holes as much as its material, the cosmic web is shaped by its vast empty spaces, the cosmic voids. Because unlike everyday emptiness, which feels like a temporary absence waiting to be filled, these voids are not accidents or leftovers, but a fundamental part of the universe's architecture. Immense bubbles that make up most of cosmic volume. Some stretch hundreds of millions of light years across, large enough to swallow thousands of galaxies, containing only a few faint, lonely systems scattered like lost coins in the dark, with matter densities less than 1/10 the cosmic average. Never perfectly empty, yet as close to true nothingness as the universe allows, while their dominance is the unsettling truth, occupying more than half, and by some estimates up to 80% of all observable space, leaving the bright filaments and galaxy clusters as mere thin walls between expanding bubbles, turning the web from a net of light into a foam of darkness. Worse still, these voids are growing, swelling faster than dense regions as the universe expands, like bubbles in rising dough, pushing everything else apart, thinning the filaments over billions of years until the web itself begins to tear, revealing that the cosmic voids are not background scenery but the main character, and that the universe is mostly empty not by accident but by design. An emptiness that is accelerating, deepening, and spreading under the quiet influence of dark energy. The force turning the cosmic sponge inside out, one silent bubble at a time. Imagine a packed movie theater on opening night, every seat filled, the air buzzing with chatter and the smell of popcorn, the room alive with energy. Then the fire alarm blares, and within minutes everyone is gone. The lights are still on, The seats still there, the screen still glowing, but the place feels utterly different. A sudden, strange emptiness that is temporary because the walls haven't moved and the building is the same, just waiting for people to return. That is emptiness on a scale we understand. But a cosmic void is something else entirely. These are gigantic bubbles in the universe, some hundreds of millions of light years wide, large enough to hold 1,000 galaxies, like the Milky Way galaxy, with room to spare, yet almost completely empty. And the Bhuta's void, one of the largest known, spans more than 250 million light years. A discovery that stunned astronomers because a region that vast should contain thousands of galaxies if matter were evenly spread. Yet it holds only a handful, making it not just quiet, but statistically impossible by pure chance. In a theatre, the walls and floor remain bound by familiar forces. In a cosmic void, there is almost nothing for gravity to work with matter densities less than 1/10 the cosmic average, where a single atom can drift billions of miles without meeting another, revealing an emptiness that is not waiting to be filled, but is a built-in structural feature of the cosmos. Cold, dark, and enduring. And here is where the real chill begins. These voids did not form merely because gravity pulled everything else away. Something is actively pushing galaxies farther apart, causing empty regions to grow faster than crowded ones. So the voids are not passive holes, but expanding domains, swallowing more of the universe every moment. The emptiness is not an accident. It is being created, turning the cosmic web inside out, one silent bubble at a time. Because the universe is not just big and quiet. It is being emptied on purpose. To really feel the forces shaping the cosmic web, think about a simple game of tug of war. You and a friend grip opposite ends of a rope, feet planted, bodies leaning back, muscles burning as you pull with everything you have, and that raw, exhausting pull is gravity. The same force that for billions of years gathered scattered matter, drew galaxies into clusters, and wove those clusters into the long filaments we see today. The builder and sculptor that turned a smooth early universe into a beautiful, lumpy web of light and matter. Now imagine that as you pull harder and harder, the rope itself begins to stretch, not because your friend is giving ground, but because some unseen force is making the rope longer between your hands. So you keep pulling. Your friend keeps pulling. Yet the distance between you widens anyway, faster and faster, until your effort feels pointless, and the playing field itself seems to change beneath your feet. That invisible stretching force is dark energy, not a tug from one side, but a push built into space itself, a gentle yet relentless pressure that grows stronger as the universe expands, where gravity struggles to pull things together while dark energy drives them apart. And right now, dark energy is winning, thinning the filaments of the cosmic web, swelling the voids, and carrying galaxy clusters that once shared gravity's embrace farther away with every passing moment. So the web is not collapsing in violence, but quietly unraveling, turned into emptiness without fire or sound. The rope growing longer, the players drifting apart. No one on the other end to let go, because the silence is not something coming in the future. It is already here, and dark energy is patiently making sure it stays. For billions of years after the Big Bang, the universe was flying outward in every direction, and every cosmologist assumed the obvious. That expansion had to be slowing down. Gravity is the force that pulls things together. It holds planets in orbit, keeps stars burning inside galaxies, and binds entire clusters. And on the larger scales, it should act like a brake on the cosmos itself, tugging galaxies back toward one another and gradually slowing the rush that began at the beginning of time, with the only real debate being how strong that braking force was, and whether it might someday halt the expansion entirely and reverse it into a future big crunch. The picture felt natural, like throwing a ball straight up, watching it rise fast at first, then slow under gravity, pause at the top, and finally fall back down. A comforting story in which gravity ultimately balances everything and nothing runs away forever. No one seriously questioned this slowdown. It was simply physics behaving as expected. Then, in the late 1990s, two independent teams of astronomers studying distant exploding stars, type Cheia supernovae, set out to measure exactly how much the universe had slowed, fully expecting to see the expansion weakening with time, and what they found instead shattered cosmology. The expansion was not slowing at all. It was speeding up. The ball was not falling back. It was accelerating away faster than ever. Something was overpowering gravity on the largest scales, something invisible with a strange, repulsive effect, a form of negative pressure woven into space itself, and they gave it a name: dark energy. Once discovered, it could not be unseen, and over the decades since, the evidence has only grown stronger. Dark energy is not merely making the universe bigger, it is accelerating emptiness itself, driving the growth of voids faster than filaments, quietly unraveling the cosmic web from the inside out. And if it continues to dominate, as every measurement says it will, the silence we sense today is only a preview, because the real silence is still ahead, and it will last forever. Then, in 1998, everything changed. Two teams of astronomers were using a special kind of exploding star, type Ia supernovae, as reliable, standard candles, because these blasts all reach nearly the same peak brightness, allowing scientists to measure their distance by how dim they appear from Earth. And when that distance is combined with the redshift of their light, how much cosmic expansion has stretched its wavelength, you can reconstruct how fast the universe was expanding at different times in its history. The plan was straightforward. Look at supernovae from when the universe was younger and measure how much gravity had slowed the expansion since the Big Bang, with everyone expecting the same result. That distant explosions would appear slightly brighter than a coasting universe predicts, because gravity should have been pulling everything back and keeping galaxies closer together. Instead, the supernovae were dimmer, much dimmer, which could mean only one thing. They were farther away than any existing model allowed, proving that expansion was not slowing under gravity's pull, but speeding up, driven by something that was pushing galaxies apart faster and faster and overpowering all the matter in the cosmos. The discovery landed like a thunderclap. The universe was not breaking, it was accelerating, a result no one had seriously predicted, forcing scientists to resurrect the cosmological constant, the anti-gravity term Albert Einstein once dismissed as his greatest blunder. Only now it was no mathematical trick but a real physical effect, a property of empty space itself acting as a repulsive force that grows stronger as the universe grows larger. We gave it a name, dark energy, and with that name, cosmology entered a deeply unsettling era, where the force that should bind everything together is losing, and the force we cannot see, touch, or truly understand is winning. Because the universe is not just expanding, it is running away from itself, and the emptiness, the silence we feel, is the inevitable result. That discovery in 1998 was the moment everything we thought we knew about force in motion fell apart. Imagine throwing a ball straight up. You watch it rise, slow under gravity, hang for a heartbeat at the top, and then fall back into your hands. That was how the universe was supposed to behave, expanding after the Big Bang, and then gradually slowing as gravity pulled everything back together, with the only debate being whether it would slow enough to collapse or merely coast forever. But the supernova data told a different story. The distant explosions were too dim, farther away than any model allowed, revealing that expansion was not slowing at all. It was speeding up, as if something were pushing the universe apart and overpowering the gravity of every star, every galaxy, every cluster. That something is dark energy. To make this strange idea feel more real, think about a vacuum, the emptiest space you can imagine. On Earth, it's just the absence of air, something passive that nature rushes to fill. But on the smallest scales, emptiness is alive, because quantum mechanics tells us that even in perfect darkness, particles and antiparticles constantly flicker into existence and vanish again. A restless background called zero-point energy, the lowest possible energy of space, yet never truly zero. Dark energy may be that vacuum energy writ large, a constant gentle pressure built into space itself, where gravity pulls inward and dark energy pushes outward. And because it belongs to space, the more space there is, the more of it exists, creating a feedback loop that drives the accelerating expansion we observe. It is not a force coming from somewhere. It is a property of nowhere. The emptiest regions of the universe are not passive. They are actively pushing everything else away, and they are winning, which is why the voids are growing, why the silence is spreading, and why the universe is not just big and empty, but is being made emptier, one silent push at a time. Dark energy is believed to be the energy of empty space itself, a strange, built-in pressure that never weakens. Think of a rubber band. When you stretch it, the tension grows, pulling harder the farther you pull. Ordinary energy, like the gravity from matter, gets diluted as the universe expands, spread the same amount over a larger volume, and its strength per cubic meter drops. But dark energy behaves in the opposite way because its density stays constant. So no matter how much space stretches, every liter of vacuum contains the same amount of it. This is what makes it so terrifying. As the universe expands, it creates more space. And because dark energy is tied to space itself, more space means more dark energy, which pushes even harder, creating still more space. A runaway loop, a quiet engine feeding on its own growth. The more the universe expands, the faster it expands. The faster it expands, the emptier it becomes. Gravity, the force that tries to pull things together, is losing the fight. On the largest scales, dark energy now dominates completely, not destroying the universe with explosions or collapse, but slowly, patiently thinning it out, pushing galaxies apart until light stretches into invisibility, until the cosmic web unravels, until every island of matter is left alone in an endless, accelerating dark. This is not a future catastrophe. It is happening right now. The voids are already growing faster than the filaments. The silence is spreading. And there is no off switch. Dark energy does not run out. It only gets stronger. The universe is not just empty. It is being emptied by a force we can measure but cannot stop. And the scariest part is how gentle it feels. No fire, no crash, just the quiet drift into forever alone. To really feel how strange dark energy is, think about weight and density, things you experience every day. You know the weight of a single drop of water on your fingertip, the heft of a small coin, the surprising mass of a sugar cube-sized piece of gold. And you've heard about the insane density of a black hole, where a teaspoon would weigh billions of tons. These are densities we can picture, more stuff packed into less space. Dark energy is the complete opposite. It is spread so thinly it almost doesn't exist at all. Its density is about 10 to the negative 29th power grams per cubic centimeter, a number with 28 zeros after the decimal before you reach a 1. Roughly 1 gram smeared across a volume larger than a city block, and then diluted a billion times more. To make it tangible, take a cube of space 1 centimeter on a side, about the size of a sugar cube. The dark energy inside would weigh less than a single proton divided by a trillion. It is so faint that every atom in your body, every breath of air, every ray of sunlight outweighs the dark energy in the same volume by an enormous margin. And yet this whisper-thin substance is everywhere, identical in every cubic centimeter of space, no matter how empty. Because it never dilutes as the universe grows. Its gentle push accumulates across billions of light years until it overpowers the gravity of all the stars and galaxies combined. Dark energy is not strong. It is patient. It wins not by force, but by being absolutely everywhere, forever, refusing to thin out while everything else spreads apart. The universe is empty because the emptiest thing in it is also the most powerful. A ghost that weighs almost nothing, and yet is slowly carrying everything away. Here is the scale shift that turns everything upside down. Dark energy is not concentrated in some distant place. It is everywhere. The same faint pressure in every cubic centimeter of space, inside your body, between the atoms of your hand, in the air you breathe, and in the deepest voids between galaxies. On its own, that pressure is almost nothing, but multiplied by the unimaginable volume of the universe, it becomes the strongest influence we know, like a billion invisible hands gently pushing outward from every point in space, where one hand does nothing but billions together overpower everything else, making dark energy about 68% of the universe's total energy, while all ordinary matter, the stars, planets, galaxies, and every atom in you, adds up to less than 5%, and dark matter makes up the remaining 27%, meaning the stuff we can see and touch is a tiny minority, and the force of emptiness itself is in charge. Dark energy is winning the cosmic tug-of-war. Gravity pulls inward, gathering matter into clusters and filaments, while dark energy pushes outward, stretching space faster and harder the more there is of it, swelling the voids, thinning the glowing threads of the cosmic web, and carrying galaxy clusters apart until their light reddens into invisibility. This accelerating push creates something truly chilling, a cosmic event horizon, beyond which nothing, not even light, can ever reach us. Galaxies near the edge are already slipping over it, their light fading away forever, not because they are destroyed, but because the space between us has grown too vast to cross. In the far future, any astronomers left will see only their own galaxy in an endless black, with no evidence of the Big Bang and no trace of others, just a lonely island in infinite night. Dark energy is not violent, it is patient, quietly turning the universe into a place where every survivor will eventually be utterly alone, because the emptiness is not an accident. It is the final victory of the force that lives in emptiness itself, and the silence it brings is the scariest sound the cosmos has ever made. To feel what a true boundary means, picture yourself standing on a boat drifting down a wide river. The current is steady at first, but ahead you can see a waterfall and the water is beginning to accelerate. So you launch a small, remote-controlled boat back toward the calm shore you left behind. At first, it makes progress against the flow, but as the river speeds up, you reach a point where the current rushes past faster than the little motor can push upstream. And no matter how hard you throttle, it slows, stops, and drifts back with you. It has crossed a line, a point of no return, beyond which nothing you send can ever get back. That invisible line is an event horizon, and the universe is building one around us right now. Galaxies far enough away are already being carried outward by the stretching of space faster than light itself can reach us. Not because anything breaks Einstein's rules, but because the space between us and those galaxies is expanding so quickly that their light is swimming upstream against a current it can never beat. Those distant galaxies are not just fading, they are slipping behind a cosmic curtain. One by one, as dark energy drives the acceleration, more galaxies cross that horizon. Their light stretches longer and longer into invisible wavelengths, growing fainter until it vanishes forever. Billions of years from now, the sky will empty, and any future astronomers will look up to see only their own galaxy surrounded by endless black. No evidence of the cosmic web, no trace of the Big Bang's afterglow, just a lonely island of stars in an infinite night. The universe is not waiting for us to catch up. It is actively isolating us, drawing the horizon closer, galaxy by galaxy, until everything beyond our local neighborhood disappears. We are living in the brief moment when the universe is still mostly visible. Soon the view will close. The silence is not coming. It is already here, spreading outward from the horizon, turning the greatest light show in existence into darkness. And there is nothing we can do to stop it. The current is too strong, the waterfall too far, and the boat will never make it back to shore. This discovery flips one of the deepest mysteries in science on its head: the Fermi paradox. The paradox is simple and haunting. The universe is billions of years old and trillions of light years wide, filled with hundreds of billions of galaxies and trillions of stars. And if life is even slightly common, intelligent civilizations should have had more than enough time to spread, build, or at least send signals we could detect. So the question becomes unavoidable. Where is everybody? Our everyday experience of communication makes the silence feel even stranger. Call a friend on your phone as they drive farther away, and the signal weakens. The voice breaks into static, and eventually the call drops. Distance winning every time. So we assume that if aliens were out there, some trace of them, radio waves, laser flashes, vast structures, should have reached us by now. But dark energy changes everything. The accelerating expansion of the universe is not just making space bigger, it is building walls that can never be crossed. As galaxies beyond a certain distance are already slipping over the cosmic event horizon. Their light never to reach us no matter how long we wait, and any signals they sent are stretched into nothingness and lost forever in the growing void. The Fermi paradox may not be about the absence of life at all. It may be about the presence of isolation. The universe could be full of civilizations, exploring, communicating, thriving, but dark energy ensures they remain hidden from us and we from them, trapping every intelligent species inside its own shrinking bubble of visibility, until, in the far future, each survivor looks out and sees only its local group of galaxies, with no evidence that anything else ever existed. We are not alone because life is rare. We are alone because the universe is structured to keep us that way. Dark energy is not destroying worlds with fire or ice. It is erasing connections, one by one, until every voice falls silent. The silence is not a mystery. It is the plan, and it is working perfectly. The cosmic web, the structure that connects all the galaxies, is dissolving. The threads are being stretched and broken. We are being marooned on a tiny local island. Our island is the local group of galaxies, dominated by the Milky Way and Andromeda. These galaxies are close enough that their mutual gravity is stronger than the repulsive force of dark energy. They are the only ones we will ever be able to interact with. In about 4 billion years, the Milky Way and Andromeda will collide and merge, forming a new colossal galaxy we call Milkomeda. This will be our final, isolated island. Imagine a small group of survivors huddling together on a tiny patch of land. All around them, the ocean is expanding, swallowing all other land masses, and the horizon is growing darker. The other islands, once visible, are now gone. The only light they will ever see is their own. That is the future of Milkomeda. The galaxies outside our local group will have long since crossed the cosmic event horizon. The night sky will become a profound black void, punctuated only by the stars of our own merged galaxy. Future astronomers, billions of years from now, will look up and see nothing but blackness. They will have no way of knowing that a universe of billions of galaxies ever existed. The history of the cosmos will have been erased. The universe is empty for a reason. It is the design of dark energy, the ultimate force of isolation. But the story of the voids does not end with mere isolation. It ends with something far colder, the slow death of the universe itself. To feel what that means, picture a campfire on a clear night. You stack the wood, strike the match, and flames leap high, casting warm light and crackling heat that pushes back the dark, alive and comforting for a while, yet destined to fade as the logs burn down. The flames shrink, and the heat spreads into the endless cold air until only grey ash remains and a faint uniform warmth dissolves into the night, a state of maximum entropy, where energy is spread so thinly that nothing useful can happen again. That is the fate waiting for the cosmos. Dark energy will keep pushing, stretching space forever, thinning matter and energy as the average temperature drifts toward absolute zero. Stars will burn out one by one. Black holes will slowly evaporate through Hawking radiation over unimaginable spans of time. And even protons may eventually decay, until everything that can happen has happened. The universe will settle into a featureless, frozen haze, particles drifting infinitely far apart, no gradients left to drive change, no light, no heat, no structure. This is the heat death, not a bang or a crunch, but a whisper into perfect equilibrium. the ultimate silence where even the memory of change is gone. The voids we see today are only a preview. Dark energy is the wind scattering the ashes before the fire has finished burning. The universe began in a hot, dense roar, and it will end in the coldest, quietest nothing. No more stories, no more light, just the final, featureless dark. The campfire goes out, and no one is left to notice. The universe is a cosmic campfire, and it is burning out. Driven by dark energy, the expansion never stops as stars exhaust their fuel one by one. The brilliant blue giants first, then steady yellow suns like ours, until only the faintest red dwarfs remain, glowing for trillions of years before cooling into black cinders, while black holes, the last dense reservoirs of matter, slowly leak away through Hawking radiation, a quantum drip that evaporates even the largest giants over timescales that dwarf the universe's current age by factors of millions. What remains is not chaos or fire, but perfect stillness. A cold, dark, almost perfectly uniform haze of photons, electrons, and other fundamental particles drifting infinitely far apart, with no clumps dense enough to spark new stars, no temperature gradients to drive energy flow, and no interactions capable of building structure or change as the temperature everywhere approaches absolute zero and entropy reaches its maximum. This is the heat death, not a dramatic finale, but the quietest possible ending. A universe that has spent every last scrap of usable energy, spread so thin that time itself loses meaning. No light, no heat, no motion worth noticing. Only an eternal, featureless equilibrium stretching without end. The campfire has gone out. The embers are cold, and no one is left to watch the dark. The silence we sense today, the emptiness between galaxies, the loneliness of the voids, is only the beginning, as dark energy guides everything toward a final, absolute hush where even the memory of stars has faded. The universe began with light and fire. It will end with nothing at all, and in that endless cold, the scariest sound will be none. But there is a fate even darker than the cold, quiet fade of heat death, a violent runaway end known as the Big Rip. To feel what that means, picture a rubber band. Stretch it slowly and it resists, holding together with quiet strength, but keep pulling and the tension builds until, suddenly, the internal bonds fail and it snaps, pieces flying apart. The Big Rip is the universe doing exactly that. Everything hinges on what dark energy truly is. If it's a simple, constant pressure, the cosmological constant once imagined by Albert Einstein, then expansion accelerates steadily toward heat death. But if dark energy is more exotic, phantom dark energy, its repulsive strength would grow over time, becoming stronger as the universe expands. That growing push would first pull galaxy clusters apart, then overpower the gravity-binding individual galaxies, unraveling spirals like Andromeda and the Milky Way into loose streams of stars. Next, solar systems would be torn apart, planets ripped from suns, moons from worlds, until even electromagnetic bonds fail, molecules disintegrate, rocks crumble into atoms, and water splits into protons and electrons. The horror would culminate when repulsion overwhelms the strong nuclear force, tearing apart nuclei themselves so that even the building blocks of matter fly asunder. The Big Rip is not emptiness by dilution. It is emptiness by violence. A final, catastrophic snap where every structure, every particle, every force is overcome, leaving a featureless spray of fundamentals racing apart forever. Phantom dark energy isn't the favored model today. Most evidence points to a constant pressure, but it cannot be ruled out. And if it is real, the silence will not arrive gently. It will come with the sharpest, most absolute tear imaginable. The universe is empty for a reason, and that reason may yet be preparing to tear itself, and everything in it, apart. The terrifying truth behind the universe's emptiness is simple and merciless. The force of emptiness itself rules everything. Dark energy is not a background effect or a gentle nudge. It is the dominant power, the active architect of isolation and perhaps even destruction, quietly dismantling the cosmos by stretching the space between galaxies, thinning the web of matter, and erasing connections one by one, so that every distant light we see tonight is already a memory, a photon from a past. The universe is steadily working to forget. Step outside and look up. Those stars, those faint galaxies, are echoes of events long over, many already dead while their light still crawls toward us across millions of years. But the real chill lives in the darkness between them, because that silence is not peaceful. It is alive. It is the sound of dark energy at work, the accelerating push that builds the cosmic event horizon, the invisible wall beyond which light can never return, cutting off galaxies mid-sentence as they slip away forever. The silence is getting louder. Every second, more space is born. More dark energy fills it. The push grows stronger. The voids swell. The filaments fray, and the horizon closes in, until one day, far beyond human lifetimes, but inevitable all the same, the sky empties completely, and only the stars of Milkomeda remain, shining in perfect eternal isolation. The universe is not empty by accident. It is being emptied on purpose, and the scariest part is how quiet it all is. No explosions, no screams, just the slow, patient drift into a darkness where no two things will ever touch again. Listen to the night. That silence is the future speaking, and it has nothing left to say. We have mapped the emptiness close to home, the cold, starless gulf between our sun and the next nearest one. And we have glimpsed the cosmic web, the universe's vast sponge-like skeleton, feeling the chill of its enormous holes, the cosmic voids that swallow almost everything. But to truly understand the power of this emptiness, we must see how it was created, and how it is now being undone. Picture dropping a pebble into a perfectly still pond. The water parts, ripples spread in perfect circles, the raised waves becoming the visible structure, while the flat spaces between them are quiet gaps, and our minds naturally focus on the ripples because they are the change, the thing that happened. The cosmic web began the same way. In the universe's first fraction of a second, when everything was hotter and denser than any star, tiny variations appeared in matter and energy, quantum fluctuations, microscopic differences no larger than subatomic scales, the universe's version of a pebble striking a pond. As the cosmos expanded and cooled, gravity pulled harder on slightly denser regions, drawing in more matter while leaving thinner regions emptier. And over billions of years, those ripples grew as overdense regions collapsed into filaments, clusters, and galaxies, the bright threads and knots of the web, while underdense regions stretched into the vast voids we see today. The structure we admire is the amplified echo of those primordial fluctuations. The emptiness is the other side of the same coin, because without those early ripples, there would be no web at all, only a perfectly even soup that gravity could never clump. But here the story turns darker. Those ripples were meant to keep growing slowly under gravity, yet something is now stretching the pond itself. The ripples are being pulled apart, the gaps widening faster than gravity can resist, as the voids expand and swallow more of the web with every passing moment. The emptiness was built by the Big Bang's first ripples. It is being unbuilt by dark energy's relentless push, because the universe is not holding together. It is coming apart at the seams, and the silence between the ripples is the sound of that unraveling. To feel how tiny differences can grow into huge structures, picture a fresh field of snow after a quiet storm. At first, it is perfectly smooth, a uniform white blanket stretching in every direction. Then, a gentle gust of wind brushes across it, pushing a few flakes into a small pile, a barely noticeable bump. That little drift catches more snow as the wind continues, growing taller and wider until it becomes a massive snowdrift that towers over the landscape and completely changes how the field looks. The early universe was like that smooth field of snow. Right after the Big Bang, everything was a hot, dense plasma, almost perfectly even, with only the tiniest variations in density from place to place. Those variations were quantum fluctuations, random wobbles no larger than the subatomic scale, like the first faint bumps in the snow. But gravity noticed. The slightly denser spots had a tiny bit more pull, and over millions, then billions of years, they drew in more matter from their surroundings. The rich got richer, the sparse got sparser, until those early seeds grew into the long filaments of galaxies we see today. The bright threads of the cosmic web, with the strongest pulls piling matter into massive clusters. The crowded cities of the cosmos. The regions that began just a little less dense lost matter to their neighbors, emptying out and stretching into the enormous voids that now dominate the universe's volume. These voids are not random holes, but the natural gaps left behind when gravity gathered everything else into the web. Gravity was the patient sculptor, taking the faintest whispers of difference from the universe's first moments and carving them into the grandest structures we know. Filaments, hundreds of millions of light years long, clusters holding thousands of galaxies, and voids so wide they could swallow everything we have ever seen. The cosmic web is the grown-up version of those quantum snowdrifts. The bright parts are where the snow piled high, the voids are where it was swept away, and the wind that started it all was gravity, quiet, relentless, and unstoppable, until something else came along to blow in the opposite direction. Something that is now undoing the sculpture, one empty bauble at a time. The terrifying truth is that the voids are not just gaps between galaxies. They are the main feature of the universe, and the cosmic web is defined as much by its emptiness as by its glowing threads. Go back to the sponge analogy. You can study the material, the solid parts that give it shape and strength, but to truly understand the sponge, you must study the holes. Because the negative space is what makes it light, what lets water flow through, what gives it purpose. In the cosmos, the cosmic voids are that negative space on the grandest scale, regions where gravity has the weakest grip and dark energy has the strongest say. These voids are pure laboratories for the forces shaping everything. With so little matter inside, there is almost nothing to resist expansion, and the largest, like the Beuter's void, spanning more than 250 million light years, are so vast that if the Milky Way galaxy sat at its center, Andromeda Galaxy would be as distant as the Virgo cluster is from us today. A volume that should contain thousands of galaxies, yet holds only a handful, structured space almost completely stripped of its contents. Picture a vast library built for millions of books, shelves stretching for miles, aisles wide and orderly. Then imagine every book removed, not destroyed, just gone. The structure remains, but its purpose has vanished, leaving a heavy, oppressive silence. The cosmic voids are that empty library on a cosmic scale, shaped by the same early ripples that built the filaments, but places where gravity lost the battle and matter was pulled away billions of years ago, leaving bubbles that keep growing. Dark energy fills those bubbles, and because it grows with space itself, the emptier a void becomes, the more dark energy it contains, the stronger the outward push, and the faster it empties. A self-reinforcing loop where more emptiness creates more dark energy, and more dark energy creates more emptiness. The voids are not waiting to be filled. They are winning, proving the universe is not just large and quiet, but actively becoming quieter, colder, and lonelier with every passing moment. The cosmic web is not a net holding matter together. It is a sponge being pulled apart from the inside, and the holes are taking over. The universe is not just expanding, it is unraveling. Picture a beautiful, hand-woven tapestry hanging on a wall. Its threads tightly interlaced into a rich, detailed image that feels solid and complete, until a tiny, invisible insect begins chewing at the edges. At first, nothing seems wrong, the center still perfect, but slowly the borders fray. Loose ends appear, gaps open where colors once met, and over time, the weave loosens and the picture falls apart thread by thread. This is the cosmic web, where bright filaments are the threads, long chains of galaxies bound by gravity. Dense clusters are the vivid focal points, and for billions of years gravity was the patient artist holding it all together, until the invisible insect, dark energy, began eating not the galaxies themselves, but the connections between them, stretching the space inside the tapestry and pulling threads farther apart so that the growing voids become chewed away sections, expanding relentlessly as emptiness fills with more repulsive force. The central image, our local group, and nearby clusters, still looks solid for now, but the edges are already fraying. Distant filaments thinning, great walls of galaxies turning into isolated strands, because the voids are not passive holes but the active unraveling, growing as dark energy grows with space and pushes harder the emptier things get, until cosmic cities drift apart and their light can no longer cross the widening gaps, vanishing one by one beyond the horizon and leaving only our small patch illuminated in an ever-darkening weave. The silence we feel today is the sound of threads coming loose. The emptiness is not an accident, but the tapestry being pulled apart stitch by stitch, and with no hand to stop it. The universe is not holding together. It is coming undone, and the final picture will be nothing at all. We have mapped the architecture of the void, the enormous, almost empty bubbles that shape the cosmic web more than the bright galaxies do. And we've named the invisible force stretching everything apart, dark energy. But to truly feel the terror of this ghost in the machine, we need to look at how it was discovered and what it really means, because its discovery was one of the greatest shocks in the history of science. A moment when everything we thought we knew about the universe collapsed. Think about something you know with absolute certainty. Dropping a ball. You let go and it falls every time, gravity never failing. Now imagine releasing it and watching it suddenly shoot upward, accelerating away as if an unseen force were pushing it into the sky. Your understanding of reality would shatter instantly, and that is exactly what happened in 1998, when astronomers studying distant exploding stars, type Ia supernovae, set out to measure how much gravity had slowed the universe's expansion and expected to see distant supernovae appear slightly brighter, pulled closer by gravity's braking effect, but instead found them much dimmer, farther away than any model allowed, proving that the expansion was not slowing at all, but speeding up, as if some force were overpowering the gravity of every star and galaxy combined. That force was dark energy, not a small correction or a minor tweak, but the dominant power in the cosmos, making up about 68% of everything. While gravity, the force that built galaxies and stars, is losing on the largest scales, dark energy is the invisible push that turned the falling ball into one rocketing away, overturning centuries of assumption in a single set of measurements. And it is still pushing, quietly, relentlessly, turning the universe from a place of connection into one of growing isolation. The shock of 1998 was not just the discovery of a new fact. It was the realization that the universe is governed by something we barely understand, something that is actively dismantling the cosmic web we once believed gravity would hold together forever, because the emptiness is not waiting in the future. It is being created right now, and dark energy is the reason the silence already feels so final. This discovery demanded a completely new idea, an invisible force we now call dark energy. But naming it was not enough, because to explain the accelerating universe, it had to possess a deeply strange, almost backward property: negative pressure. To make that intuitive, picture a balloon. When you blow air into it, the air presses outward on the rubber, making the balloon expand. This is positive pressure, familiar and easy to grasp. Now, picture a spring. Compress it, and it pushes back outward, again positive pressure, but stretch the spring and it pulls inward, trying to snap back together. That inward tug is negative pressure, a tension that wants to reduce distance. Dark energy behaves like a spring stretched through every point in space, except with a terrifying twist. Instead of pulling inward, its tension pushes outward. It is a repulsive property built into the vacuum itself, a form of anti-gravity that grows more influential as space grows larger. This is what makes dark energy so powerful and so unsettling. Ordinary things, matter, light, radiation, dilute as the universe expands. Double the volume and you halve their density, weakening gravity's grip. Dark energy does not dilute. Its density stays constant no matter how much space exists. So when the universe expands and creates more space, that new space is filled with the same outward push as before. The total amount of dark energy increases, the pressure strengthens, and expansion accelerates even more. It is a force that feeds on expansion. The bigger the universe gets, the harder dark energy pushes, and the harder it pushes, the faster everything flies apart. There is no balance, no natural slowdown, only acceleration. Dark energy is not merely filling the voids, it is creating them, and it will continue turning structure into emptiness until the cosmic web is reduced to scattered remnants in an endless dark. The silence is not waiting in the future. It is being built right now by a force that turns emptiness itself into power, and there is nothing we can do to stop it. To feel how strange this constant density really is, picture a bank account linked to the size of your house. Every time your house gets bigger, add a new room, extend a wall, the bank automatically deposits more money, exactly enough to keep the same amount of cash per square foot. So double the house and your total money doubles, while the wealth per room never changes. The density stays fixed no matter how much you expand, and the universe works the same way, with dark energy playing the role of the money. As space itself grows, new space is created, and because dark energy is a property of space, that new volume is filled with the same amount of dark energy per unit volume, keeping its density constant, double the size of the cosmos, and the total amount of dark energy doubles, even though its strength in every cubic centimeter remains unchanged. Gravity behaves in the opposite way, like ordinary savings spread thinner and thinner. As the universe expands, the same matter is diluted across a larger volume. Galaxies drift farther apart, and their mutual gravitational pull weakens, so the force trying to hold things together fades with time. Dark energy never does. It does not thin out. It only grows in total influence, which is why it is winning the cosmic tug-of-war. Gravity is being diluted while dark energy remains just as strong everywhere, with more of it appearing every moment. This imbalance is not static, but worsening, as the fraction of the universe ruled by dark energy keeps rising and matter becomes an ever smaller minority. Until, in the far future, gravity is nearly meaningless on the largest scales, and the cosmos is governed entirely by the repulsive push of empty space itself, isolating everything and driving every galaxy, every cluster, every last star farther away until nothing can ever touch anything else again. The universe is not just emptying, it is being ruled by emptiness, and the silence that follows will be the only thing left. The universe is not just empty, it is being hollowed out. Picture a great ancient tree standing alone in a forest clearing, its trunk thick and solid, branches spread wide, roots deep, looking unbreakable after centuries of storms, until a slow, invisible rot begins at the very heart of the trunk, turning the core to dust year by year while the outer bark still looks healthy, the tree standing and leafing out, even as its strength vanishes, waiting for a wind that will one day snap it like a dry twig. The cosmic web is that ancient tree. The bright filaments and dense galaxy clusters are the outer bark, still bound by gravity's stubborn pull and glowing with light and motion, while the vast growing voids are the rot at the core, hollow chambers expanding from within, filled with the relentless push of dark energy. So the structure we see is only the remaining shell, and the heart of the web has already begun to crumble. Dark energy's true terror is not drama or violence, but cold, perfect indifference. It does not create, it does not destroy with fire or force, it simply negates, cancelling gravity's pull, cancelling the chance for distant galaxies to ever feel each other again, cancelling the shared history written in light that has travelled billions of years to reach us. The universe is empty for a reason. Emptiness is not an accident or a failure, but the final victory of the vacuum itself. The quiet, constant pressure of nothing that outweighs everything. The silence you feel when you look at the night sky is not peaceful. It is the sound of possibility being pulled apart, thread by thread, forever. The cosmic web is unraveling from the inside. The tree is hollowing out, and there is no wind strong enough to bring it down quickly. It will simply stand, empty, until the end. We have mapped the architecture of the void and named the invisible force behind it all, dark energy, and now we must face its coldest consequence, the slow, irreversible isolation of everything we can ever know, a fate written into the cosmic event horizon, the invisible boundary quietly erasing the rest of the universe from our view forever. To feel what an event horizon really means, picture standing on the bank of a wide, fast-flowing river and tossing a message in a bottle downstream toward a distant town. At first, it drifts steadily away and you could still swim after it, but farther on, the river accelerates until the current becomes so strong that anything dropped in is swept away faster than you could ever catch up. Throw another bottle, and no matter how hard you hurl it, the flow wins, and the first bottle has crossed a point of no return from which nothing you send can ever reach it again. The cosmic event horizon works the same way, but on a scale that swallows galaxies. It is not a wall you can fly to, but a boundary in light and time, beyond which galaxies are carried away by expanding space faster than their light can travel toward us. Their photons are still on the way, but the distance they must cross grows so quickly that the light stretches, reddens, fades, and ultimately vanishes. Those distant galaxies are not destroyed. They are simply gone from our story. One by one, as dark energy accelerates expansion, more of the universe slips over this horizon. In a few billion years, clusters we can still see today will fade. In tens of billions, entire superclusters will disappear, and the observable universe will seem to shrink, not because it is getting smaller, but because everything else is being pushed forever out of reach. The cosmic event horizon is closing in. The final, perfect isolation, ensuring that the universe is not just emptying, but making certain we will never know most of what it once held. The silence is not coming. It is already here, drawing its circle tighter around the tiny patch of light we still call home. And there is no way back across the river. Galaxies far enough away are being carried outward by the expansion of space faster than light itself can bridge the gap. And to be perfectly clear, this does not break Einstein's rules. The galaxies are not racing through space faster than light. It is the space between us and them that is stretching so quickly that the light they send can never catch up. Picture standing on a treadmill that starts slow enough for you to walk forward and stay in place. Then imagine the belt suddenly accelerating beneath your feet. You run harder and faster, but the treadmill speeds up even more, carrying you backward no matter how fast your legs move. The runner is not breaking any speed limit. The ground itself is pulling away. That is exactly what is happening to distant galaxies. They emit light at nature's maximum speed, but expanding space is the accelerating treadmill beneath the photons. So even though the light travels straight and true, the finish line, Earth, recedes faster than it can close the distance, and those galaxies slip behind a cosmic curtain, crossing the event horizon, beyond which no light, no signal, no information can ever return. They are being erased from our future. Right now, we can still see billions of galaxies, their light a frozen record of the universe's youth, but as dark energy drives the acceleration, more cross that horizon every moment. Their light stretches, reddens, fades into invisible wavelengths, and finally vanishes, until one day the sky empties, and any beings left in our merged Milkomeda will look out into perfect blackness with no trace of the vast cosmic web that once surrounded them. The universe is not waiting for us to explore it. It is closing the doors, galaxy by galaxy, forever. The terrifying isolation is not coming someday. It is already here, and the silence is only getting deeper. This profound isolation casts the Fermi paradox in a new, far colder light. The universe is billions of years old, filled with hundreds of billions of galaxies and trillions of stars. And if life is even remotely common, intelligent civilizations should have had time to spread, to build, to send signals we could detect. So where is everybody? We usually imagine communication across a fixed distance, like calling a friend across town, where the signal travels at a steady speed and arrives if the distance is short enough. But in a universe ruled by dark energy, space itself is not fixed. It is stretching, and that stretching is accelerating. Picture shouting to a friend on a dock while you drift away on a boat. At first, your voice carries, but as an unseen current speeds you up, the words fade until distance wins and the sound is lost. Now imagine the water itself expanding, pulling the dock away faster than sound can travel, so that even the loudest shout or strongest radio signal stretches into meaningless noise. That is the universe dark energy is creating. Galaxies beyond our local neighborhood are already receding so quickly that their light, and any signals they might send, will never reach us. Civilizations could be thriving right now, broadcasting, building wonders beyond imagination, and we would never know because expanding space is a perfect silencer, carrying signals away or stretching them into oblivion. The Fermi paradox may not mean we are alone. It may mean we are being made alone. The cosmic web is dissolving, its threads stretching and snapping, leaving us with only the local group as our final companions, bound tightly enough by gravity to resist the push, with the Milky Way galaxy and Andromeda galaxy destined to merge while everything else drifts beyond the horizon forever. The universe is not empty because life failed to appear. It is empty because dark energy is making sure no one can ever hear anyone else again. We are being marooned, and the silence is the proof. In roughly 4 billion years, the Milky Way galaxy and the Andromeda galaxy will complete their long gravitational embrace, merging into a single enormous elliptical galaxy astronomers have already nicknamed Milkomeda. Our final, lonely island, a glowing sphere of trillions of aging stars, and the last place where gravity still manages to resist the push of dark energy. Picture a handful of survivors clinging to a small raft in an endless rising ocean. All around them, other islands once visible on the horizon sink below the waves one by one. The water keeps expanding, the sky grows darker, and soon the only light left is the faint glow from their own tiny patch of land. With no signals from distant shores and no memory that anything else ever existed. That is the future night sky from Milkomeda. The billions of galaxies we see today will have slipped forever beyond the cosmic event horizon, their light stretched into invisibility by accelerating expansion and never reaching us, so that future astronomers, if any remain, will gaze into perfect, unbroken black, punctuated only by the dim reddish stars of their single merged galaxy, with no evidence of the Big Bang's afterglow, no hint of the cosmic web, and no clue that a universe of trillions of suns once surrounded them, because the entire history beyond their local patch will have been quietly erased. The universe is empty for a reason. It is the deliberate work of dark energy, the quiet and indifferent force of isolation that has been pushing everything apart since the first faint supernovae revealed its existence. But the story of the void does not end with loneliness. It ends with the ultimate silence, the slow and inevitable death of the universe itself, as the cosmic campfire burns low and dark energy scatters the ashes before the flames have even gone out, because the final darkness is coming, and it will be absolute. We have followed the path of the void from the deserted street corner to the edge of the cosmic event horizon. We have seen the universe actively isolating us, ensuring that our final fate will be played out on a tiny, lonely island of matter. Now, we must look into the face of the ultimate silence, the final, cold end of the cosmos. We began this journey with the unsettling silence of a deserted city street, a human-scale void that felt wrong. We have ended it with the profound, cold silence of a universe that is actively being emptied, a silence that is not just the absence of sound, yet but the absence of structure, light, and connection. The terrifying silence you hear when you look into the night sky is the sound of the universe's history being erased, the sound of all possibility being pulled apart, and the sound of our ultimate, cold destiny. It is the sound of the universe winning the final, inevitable battle against itself. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the cosmo depth. Until next time, keep looking up and keep listening to the silence.